What do you consider when choosing an investment solution? Do you only consider funds that performed well against their peers, or do you look for funds with low costs? Or maybe you prefer funds that are well known, the big names, the household brands. If this is your criteria for selecting investment funds, you won't know whether the investor will achieve their investment objective or even what the investment journey will be like over the investment term. While we may think investors measure investment success or risk by considering average returns, risk-adjusted returns, or volatility, we are wrong. When measuring investment success, private investors tend to use a different benchmark, a more absolute benchmark. They ask one important question: did I achieve my goal? For private investors, investing is personal. They invest money to serve some emotional or functional purpose. An emotional purpose could be to provide a sense of security or financial independence. A functional purpose could be more practical, like paying for a child's education or ensuring they have retirement savings. Whatever the goal, it is important to them, and not achieving it has personal consequences for their life. The aim of investing should be twofold: achieve a desired outcome and give the investor a sense of financial well-being. It is proven that the success of an investment is not only determined by the returns the investment generates, but is also influenced by the investor's behavior. To enhance the probability of investment success, the strategy should therefore integrate both time-tested investment principles and behavioral factors. You may ask, what investment strategy achieves both these aims? Well, the answer is outcomes-based investing. Amity Investment Solutions manages a range of outcomes-based solutions. We focus on reducing the uncertainty of investment outcomes. Each investment strategy has a predetermined range of outcomes. The aim is to optimize the probability of delivering returns within this range consistently. Now it becomes easier to plan for investment goals, knowing the likelihood of achieving a certain outcome. You see, this way of investing now moves the narrative away from which combination of assets deliver a better return to which combination of assets has the highest consistency of achieving a specified range of outcomes, regardless of the market conditions. While traditional investment strategies build portfolios based on the return opportunities in the market, outcomes-based investing uses a different approach, a risk-based asset allocation model. Amity Investment Solutions is a boutique discretionary fund manager with a very unique investment philosophy. Our range of outcomes-based model portfolios and CIS funds are based on the four cornerstones of our investment philosophy. They are: delivering predetermined range of outcomes, enhancing the consistency of achieving the specified return profile, actively managing the risk budget of the solution, preserving capital in nominal and real terms. This is achieved by managing three key decisions: which asset allocation has the highest probability of consistently achieving the planned outcome, selecting active or passive building block managers that add value based on our proprietary scorecards, constructing the portfolio by combining managers which optimizes the risk and return criteria. Our outcomes-based investment process adds value to both advisors and private investors alike. The solutions reduce the uncertainty of an investor not achieving their investment goal and experience financial well-being during the journey. Speak to Amity Investment Solutions to find out how we can help you to improve your investment outcomes.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us this morning. My name is Tanya Kitsia, and I'm the Advisor Experience Manager at Amity Investment Solutions. This is our first webinar for 2023, and we believe this morning session will provide some valuable skills for all of us. Whether we are engaging with clients or just having a casual conversation with colleagues, there are always ways in which we can improve our listening and responding skills. I don't need to tell anyone that we are living in a digital age. We are often more at home in a Zoom room or a Teams meeting than an in-person session. And while we can't deny the fact that Zoom meetings and Teams meetings have provided us with benefits in terms of our productivity or ease of doing business, we also can't deny the fact that digital ways of communicating is impacting our ability to form meaningful human connections. Now, during COVID, I too became an avid TED Talk watcher and podcast listener. And during this time, I was intrigued by what Simon Sinek said. Simon is an optimist, and he has built his personal brand around human connections. He says, and I quote, "Music is what happens between the notes, but trust is what happens between meetings." In a very recent interview with Richard Branson, Simon was asked, if you were to start a business right now, what problems would you solve? Now, his answer surprised me as he said that he would solve how we relate to one another. He continued and said that nowadays we are more judgmental, we are very bad at listening, and we often struggle to see the world as it is. We see the world as black or white and struggle to find the grey lines in between. He recently wrote a book, Lead Beyond 2030, where he states that empathy is at a 30-year low. And he also mentions that human skills are very essential for success. Now, Simon often challenges his viewers and listeners to put away their phones and try and focus only on the conversation at hand. He urges them when they use public transport to look up and away from their newspapers or tablets, to engage, to make eye contact. Now, while it is very difficult on an online webinar such as this to have a meaningful engagement with our audience, I too would like to urge you this morning, for the next 30 minutes, to try and truly listen to what our industrial psychologist, Marina Pretorius, shares with us. Her focus this morning is to share valuable tools in how we need to better our listening skills, especially when we engage with our clients. How can we as financial advisors adjust our mindset to enable a better client discovery process? It is, after all, a very crucial point in the advice business to build meaningful connections and trust with our clients. Marina, as always, it is such a huge pleasure and privilege to have you present to our audience. Over to you.
Good morning, Tanya, and thank you again for the introduction and the opportunity to share with the Amity audience today around how a coaching mindset could enable a better client discovery process. And as you so rightly said, a better quality connection with your clients. In the webinar and blog series presented from June to August last year, we spoke about practical advice to future-proof your financial advice business, given the changes that Amity is seeing in their ongoing research of the developments in this field. These changes could actually impact the sustainability of the financial advisory profession, and among others, changes in clients' expectations around having financial well-being throughout their lives, not just at retirement. The drive from regulators to ensure suitable advice that was provided through a robust and transparent process. And then our new understanding of behavioral finance that provides insight into how clients make decisions and stay or deviate from decisions, among others. These drivers of change implies that the future holds an increased need for personal financial advice, which is likely to unfold in 4 distinct roles that the advisor will need to take on. The financial planner that can give a client an indication of the health of their wealth and help create a vision for the future of wealth that is built around the important events and goals of the client. The consultant, who is the technical expert that can, for instance, evaluate financial products and provide advice on tax implications, but also forms part of an extended network of experts that can provide advice. The administrator role is the one where the financial advisor helps the client to organize their financial affairs and assist in implementing financial decisions. And the financial coach role is the one where the advisor continues to influence the client's financial behavior in a way that the client's money beliefs and habits will be healthy and in support of their goal achievement. At Amity, we believe that financial service providers will future-proof their business by creating a new value proposition, which move from selling products to enabling financial well-being for their clients. At the heart of this is knowing the client better and being able to influence financial behaviors that will lead to outcomes that will help clients have a life well lived. This webinar content is also an invitation to consider a life planning approach to your practice and taking on a financial coaching role when engaging with your current and future clients. But what is meant by the term coaching? The concept of coaching originally comes from the word that is used to describe a horse-drawn carriage and carries with it the symbolism of being a supportive structure that moves a person from one point to the other. There are many nuanced definitions of coaching out there, but the International Coaching Federation defines coaching as an ongoing partnership that helps clients to produce fulfilling results in their personal and professional lives. Through the process of coaching, clients deepen their learning, improve their performance, and enhance their quality of life. That definition is very close to the definition of life planning, which can be described as the process of helping people focus on their true values and motivations and determining the goals and objectives they have as they see their lives develop, and using these values, motivations, goals, and objectives to guide the planning process and provide a framework for making choices and decisions in life that have financial and non-financial implications or consequences. The essence of both these is therefore to help a person change in the way they wish and helping them go in the direction they want to go. The Amity brand promise is that we will help answer the questions that I'm sure many advisors have. But the question whether the recommended investment will deliver the outcome that was planned and whether the recommended investment strategy was suitable for the client is underpinned by a whole different set of behavioral questions. How responsible is this client with money? Can you as an advisor have an influence on their behavior? How do they make decisions? Do they stick with decisions or do they change their minds often? What will make them change their mind and deviate from the investment strategy that you so carefully planned with or for them? And ultimately, the question is, what is the client's mindset about money and investments? Asking these type of questions and thinking about them in formulating your approach to a client discovery process leans toward having a coaching approach, which has the benefits we discussed in the last webinar of giving a client a more personalized experience in line with their changing expectations, giving advice that is more likely to stick or have your client stick with the plan, understanding better how to preempt risks in the client's behavior of changing their minds or unexpectedly reacting to market news that creates unnecessary losses, and ultimately increasing the value of your advice proposition as the outcomes that the client intended is actually realized. Understanding the client's mindset about money will therefore greatly support and improve the quality of the client discovery process. In our webinar in May 2022, we started the conversation about what it means to have a coaching approach and some skills that support this. Asking the questions we just mentioned also builds into the skill of being client-centric and building good relationships. But the skills we want to delve in a bit deeper today is around self-awareness. Self-awareness is built when you ask yourself the questions, what is your style or approach when giving advice? How aligned is that style to a coaching approach? Is there a gap? And do you want to shift your style to adopt more of a coaching approach? And to answer the questions around potentially shifting your style to adopt more of a coaching approach, there is one very important force to reckon with. And that is your own mindset or mental model around this particular approach to clients. In this presentation, I will use the word mindset and mental model interchangeably, as they refer to the same concept. But let's get to what is a mindset. To illustrate a mindset, I want to do a bit of an exercise with you. I'm going to show you a picture in the next slide. But before I do, I want you to imagine and picture yourself as a highly renowned researcher into exotic reptiles. You have dedicated your life to understanding and explaining the valuable role of reptiles in the Earth's ecosystem, and is continuously trying to combat the extinction of some very rare species. You and your colleagues have taken numerous travels to find one very rare species. You are currently almost at the end of your career, and you know this will probably be your last trip. It is the second last day of your trip, and you are unsure whether this will be a success. But you are tracking all the clues that you and the team have collected up to a cave in a forest. As you are entering the cave and your eyes adapt to the light, you see the following. I wish we were a live audience, because I would have loved to see and hear about your reactions. I want you to take a moment and think about your first reaction when you saw this picture. Did you take on the mindset of the scientist, who would probably have been over the moon to find this rare species and experience emotions like joy and happiness? Or did you have a scare and run away reaction, which is probably a more normal reaction from someone who is not a scientist? How do you feel about snakes, and what reactions did that prompt with you? That is what we will call your mindset around reptiles. Let's do another exercise that is probably a bit closer to home. I'm going to show you a set of statements, and I want you to ask yourself to what extent you agree with them. I'm going to read them out to you, and you can jot down on a piece of paper what your immediate response is. More to the left if you disagree, or more to the right if you agree. Your immediate answer gives a clue to what your mindset is around some aspects of clients and financial advice. So, mindset. We all have it. It's the lens through which we see the world that drives our response to everything we experience. Being aware of your mental models or your mindset is key to being objective, which is a key characteristic of having a coaching approach. Let's do a last exercise to illustrate mindset. What comes to mind when you look at these different faces of people who could represent your current or future clients? What assumptions do you have about the different faces, and how may that influence how you approach your client discovery process? Let's talk a bit about the underlying nature of mindsets and why it is such a powerful force to guide our behaviors. Mindsets are habits of mind, and as we all know, habits are what we do naturally without even thinking about it. The word mindset was first used in the 1930s to mean habits of mind formed by previous experience. In simple terms, mindsets are deeply held beliefs, attitudes, and assumptions we create about who we are and how the world works. Mindsets are created by experiences, and more specific, from the distinctions we are able to make about our experience and what meaning we give to the experience. We have experiences. From our experiences, we make new distinctions and attribute meaning, and from these distinctions, we create new mindsets. Unfortunately, mindsets can also limit our thinking as they create blind spots. Mindsets provide us with fragmented ways of looking at the world, never with complete facts of what is. We always see the world through the filter of our mindsets, and unfortunately, our mindsets are always incomplete. Mindsets are also self-deceptive. Any attempt to shift our mindsets will be met by powerful forces. An example of these forces is our tenacity for confirmation bias, the searching for and the recalling of information that reconfirms our pre-existing beliefs. Mindsets shape our everyday lives. We make our mindsets, and thereafter our mindsets make us. If there is something we would like to change in our lives, such as be more coaching orientated, we must also be open to shifting our mindset. And the good news is that mindsets can be changed. By firstly becoming aware of the mindset or mental model that we hold about something, we can become aware of blind spots and self-deceptive forces. Examine how our habits of mind show up and shape our behavior, and then tap our individual and collective capacities to take the next step to where we want to be. But our topic for today relates to a coaching mindset, so let's explore that a bit deeper. The International Coaching Federation's definition of a coaching mindset is the attitude of those who develop and maintain a mindset that is open, curious, flexible, and client-centered. This means that a coaching mindset typically will hold the following assumptions and belief. A person with a coaching mindset is deeply client-centered, which is all about being intentional about working in partnership with your client in their growth process. A coaching mindset holds the belief that the financial advice process is also about development of the client and not just solutions that needs to be provided. As we mentioned in the definition right in the beginning of the presentation, it is about a process of supporting the client to explore their motivations and goals. Clients come to us to help them through a problem. If we focus only on the solution to that problem, then our client will not grow. Having a coaching mindset is about facilitating the development process as one gets closer to the solutions for the client's financial situation. Another aspect of a coaching mindset is that it is forward-facing, meaning that whilst you explore the present with a client, you are also designing what they want their future to be. It means having a mindset that considers what is possible over what it isn't possible. Two very important assumptions that is held by someone who has a coaching mindset is that people are resourceful and want to succeed, and that a client knows more about their problem than you do. This implies that one treats them as a knowledgeable person and not as someone that needs to be fixed. It implies to be curious about the details of their values, their goals, and their aspirations, as much as where and why they find themselves in their current situation when you start your client discovery process. But how can one go about developing a coaching mindset? We identified 7 building blocks that I want to end off with, some of them relating back to the core skills we talked about before. Our last webinar was all about how to ask good questions, to clarify what you are hearing during the client discovery process, and the challenge to slay the advice monster, that urge that we often have to tell clients what the best solution is, and to try and control the outcome of their decisions, and the deeply held belief that it's up to us to save a client with our good advice. The secret weapon in slaying the advice monster lies in the question: can you stay curious a little bit longer? Can you rush to action and advice giving a little bit more slowly? And then listen. Our ability to listen actively and deeply starts with being aware of how you listen. The first level of listening is where one focuses on yourself, your experience in the moment, and your opinion of what is being said, and where you start formulating what you want to respond with. This, of course, has the risk that you don't hear all that the other person is trying to say or miss important information. A second level of listening is where you are focused on what the other person is saying. Your own thoughts do not enter the conversation, and you wait to formulate your own response. This is where having a curious mindset can help a lot to keep you focused on the person across from you. The third level of listening is where you also become aware of what is not being said by the words, the body language, tone of voice, and hesitations while the person talks. Bringing that level of listening into the conversation really deepens what you hear and gives the other person the experience of being listened to. And then, after we listened, we ask questions again and can then use another skill to enhance the client discovery process and the connection between you. The skill of using the silence. People often feel the urge to break silence, particularly if they are used to giving answers. It actually takes courage to give ourselves permission to stay silent and trust that the other person will come up with an answer, especially if you are really interested in what the answer is that the client has. It is useful to remind ourselves in situations where there is this lingering silence that people are resourceful and know more about their problem than you do. The last 3 building blocks centers strongly on self-awareness. Create a habit of intentionally reflecting on your client's discovery process. An example of reflective practice might be to ask yourself after a session, what happened and why did this happen in this session? Reflection is a tool that changes an experience into knowledge, as it connects the what and the why of the situation. If we as advisors do not reflect on our experiences, then we simply do not gain the knowledge and understanding of how our own behaviors and that of our clients shaped the situation. This can often be seen in advisors who rely only on their tacit knowledge of the process to form most of their understanding of the client and the advice they give. They know how to do something, but often do not know why they are doing it. Reflecting on our own experiences will also help to recognize how often you are reacting to what the client says instead of responding intentionally, which is often the more thoughtful way of providing advice. By responding and not reacting, you are more present and you do not let your biases or your past experiences influence you or show judgment towards the client and enable you to empathize more with your client. By doing so, you are likely to create a safe space for your client and greatly enhance the connection and the client discovery process. The last building block almost goes without saying, the importance to mentally and emotionally prepare for sessions. A coaching mindset and being client-centric includes preparing yourself for each session. Spend some time thinking about how you think about the client and where your mind space is. Intentionally creating a coaching mindset for yourself before each session. Aristotle said very long time ago, we are what we repeatedly do. And Gary Player said, the more I practice, the luckier I get. So intentionally practicing a coaching mindset is the best way to make it a habit of mind, which we believe has the potential to give new and better results for your client discovery process and the growth and success of your advice business. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Marina. That was a brilliant presentation, and I always learn so much from you when you present on these topics. I truly hope it inspired everyone on this call as well this morning to go back to the drawing board, go and sit and rethink the way we talk and the way we engage, the way we ask questions when we interact with our clients. If you have any questions on this morning session, please feel free to make contact with myself or Marina, and we will gladly take you through some tools and chat to you and just have a nice discussion, a nice listening and a nice engaging discussion.
Ladies and gentlemen, just on a final note, Marina Pretorius and her team is also busy with developing an investor profiling tool. And I'd like to just share with you a bit about this tool and also ask for your assistance in completing the survey and to ultimately help us to develop our end tool. When you visit our website www.amity.co.za, you can go to the Insights and Resources tab and then scroll down to Project Archie. Now, this is a very quirky and exciting name that we gave this project, referring to investor archetypes, and that's kind of where this all originated. Now, as a discretionary fund manager, Amity is very excited to build a financial behavior profiling tool, and this tool will ultimately assist the investor to be informed about their money behavior, biases that could lead to inefficient financial decisions, to understand how different investment portfolios will influence their financial well-being. And it will also assist the advisor to identify the appropriate investment portfolios for their clients. Now, furthermore, this will assist the advisor in guiding the client through all the ups and downs of the investment journey. Now, in order to develop the tool, Amity needs to validate the reliability, or to test the validity and the reliability of the questionnaire to ensure that these questions test what they are supposed to test. So when you do have questions that you might feel are a bit repetitive, that's basically the way it was designed in this initial questionnaire. Now, the team at Amity Investment Solutions now works very closely with our industrial psychologist, Marina. She's actually also now officially part of the Amity team. And we drafted this set of about 103 questions. Now, you will see when you scroll down, it talks a bit more about the survey completion, such as the 103 questions that will include biographic questions. But it will take a maximum of 15 minutes to complete. And you need to be older than 18 years, living in South Africa. And obviously, we'd like to incentivize someone, and that would be to say that if you complete the entire survey, you will have the opportunity to participate in a lucky draw for a Take a Lot voucher. So we found that people do complete the questionnaire, but unfortunately they don't necessarily complete the full questionnaire, and then we can't make use of those questions that they completed. Then also we would just like to thank everyone who have already perhaps completed this questionnaire. Once you click on the survey link, it will take you to this screen, SurveyMonkey, and then it will also explain a bit about the consent, the purpose of the study, and everything that we have just discussed. Once you click on OK, it will then take you to the first questions. And again, as I mentioned, please ensure that you carry on to the final question and complete the full survey.
We place all the videos on our YouTube channel, so you are very welcome to go and watch this again or share this with your network. And also, if you'd like to go back to Marina's session that she did last year, that too will be on our YouTube channel. Again, I'd like to thank you all for taking the time to attend this morning's webinar. We'll be back next month with another session, and we hope that it will be as insightful and as inspiring as this morning session. Have a great day. Thank you. Bye-bye.